Native Oregonian George Byron Wright was born on the Columbia River at the Dalles, Oregon. Along with his mother and brother, he migrated to 3 other small Oregon towns as his father pursued the life of a mortician. Living in Baker City, Tillamook, and Roseburg endowed him with a lifelong fondness for small places. His most recent novel, NEWPORT BLUES, it's over there, NEWPORT BLUES, A Salesman's Lament, was published in 2011 and tells the story of Sidney Lister, a ground-down ex-salesman who has to fill in for a dead man on short notice. I like that. That's cool. Wright lives with his wife and first reader Betsy in Portland, Oregon, USA.
Well, thank you very much. He's already told everything I need to say, so I guess we're done. It's nice to be here. This is a really nice event that all of you put together. I want to thank Tanya, Tina Jacobson of Jacobs Books, and Don and Doug Sellers of Primrose Tumbleweed. It's really nice of you to do this, and I think you said it's working out for all of you, so that's good. Thank you for coming here to hear all of us others chat about our books. There's nothing we like less. Getting out of our cocoons. So I'm here to discuss my latest novel. I've written 5 novels, and they're up here if you want to look at them. NEWPORT BLUES, A Salesman's Lament. And being a native Oregonian, all my novels are set in my wonderful state, and it's what I know best. But I'm going to tell you something. Let me cut to the chase here, because I'm probably not going to use all of my 15 minutes, because we got to hear from this other gentleman that has a goatee as well. In 48 words, this is what the story of Sidney Lister is all about. A burned-out salesman, an iguana named Iggy, a cigar-fumed Cadillac, a lustful ex-wife, a fateful OSU football game, the prettiest girl from high school, and a pursuer with lethal intent. All tied up in a drive down the Oregon coast on behalf of a dead man. Okay, I think we're done here. The question is, before I get into the actual story itself, is how many of you sold or tried to sell anything when you were in grade school? Girl Scout cookies, you know. Yeah, we've all done that. We were all salespeople when we were children. And we didn't think much about it, but then we became terrified about the salespeople later on. I had a Kool-Aid stand, I had a newspaper route, did other things. And how many of you were in sales to make an actual living? Now, not as many hands.
It's not fun.
How many of you were in sales that was total commission sales? One back there. And, that is the hardest nut of all, let me tell you. But in fact is, we're all selling something every day. An idea, a product, a service, a cause, ourselves. Just anything of that. It's all sales. That's what life is about. It's not a bad word. But actually making your living in sales is a tough road to hoe. It takes chutzpah, nerve, charisma to make a living on commission sales particularly, and not everyone is cut out to do it. My attempts at sales were Christmas card sales, door to door, when I was still in about the 3rd grade, 4th grade. I got this little kit, you know, on the back of this thing. Send in, make lots of money, and so you get the kit. The thing is, you've got to sell enough Christmas cards to pay for the kit. And I went around knocking on doors, and the neighbor ladies, that's when neighbor ladies were still home. I'm pretty old. Anyway, I'd say, you don't want to buy some Christmas cards, do you? And of course they didn't. And my mother ended up selling the rest of the kit to people at church or her neighbor ladies or friends and to pay for the darn thing. But my most challenging sales job was as a Fuller Brush door-to-door salesman. Anybody remember when Fuller Brush used to go door-to-door? Horrible. I mean, it was actually horrible. I did it in the early something or other in the 60s when I was in my 20s, and I went door to door, and it was in the recession of every 20 years we have this recession. This is 1961, and Dad was home and slamming the door in my face and so forth. Hard to do. And I was an over-the-road rack job salesman at one time. That's the people that used to do all the sales to go into the supermarkets and grocery stores and order and stock the vitamins and the drugs and the nylons and all that kind of stuff. And that was a non-foods job. So I have a lot of sympathy for the hard knocks salesman. And as all we authors are salespeople, believe it or not, here's where we are tonight. I'm right here selling you the idea of my story. And that's what I like to do. I'm a storyteller. I think life really is easier to understand in a story. And I like novels because I think in fiction, you invite people in. If you're reading a story, you can identify with some part of what's being told. Either you know somebody that went through what you're talking about, or you've experienced something like that yourself, or you can imagine it, and the author is asking you to go along for the ride. Well, my novel, even before it had a title,